Hey guys, MTG Master here, and I'm here with a deck tech for a red-white aggro Fate Reforged Standard. And let's get into the land base. For the land base, we've got 5 plains, 8 mountains, 4 battlefield forge, which tap for a colorless, or you can tap it for red or white if you pay 1 life, Temple of Triumph, Windsguard Crag, and a mana confluence, which when you tap it, you pay 1 life to add 1 of any color. Then for our creatures, we've got 4 Soldier of the Pantheon. Works really well against any sort of multicolored deck. Chain of the Rocks, any big creature that they control. The only downside is you have to have a mountain, so that's why we're only running 3. 4 Monastery Swift Spear, really good. You want to get it early game. Titan Strength, that's a card that is kind of like a fill-in, but it's doing pretty good, so I might keep it there. We've got Seeker of the Way, 4 of. It is just like the Monastery Swift Spear, except for it doesn't have haste, and it's a 2/2, and when you cast a non-creature spell, it gains lifelink. It's really good. Like I said, it's really good with Titan Strength, just like the Monastery Swift Spear, because it gets the +3/+1, plus it gets the Prowess trigger and lifelink, so it's a bunch of lifelink and damage, so that's really good. We have 3 Valorant Stance, which is really good against any kind of like Siege Rhinos or any deck running creatures with toughness 4 or greater. Or it can just prevent your guy from dying, like if they have any Hero's Downfall or Murderous Cut or anything like that. Then we've got 4 Lightning Strikes. It's really simple, just 2 for 3 damage. Gets rid of a lot of stuff. Then we've got 4 Rabble Masters, and they make all your goblins have to attack each turn. And cool fact, if you have 2 of them, they make each other have to attack. At the beginning of your combat step, get a 1/1 goblin with haste, so it has to attack. Unless you tap it and convoke it for the Stoked Flames, which I'll talk about in a minute. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+0 for each other attacking goblin, which works really well with the next card, Hoarding Outbursts. You put 3 1/1 goblins for 3, it's sorcery, not bad. It works really well because then when these guys attack, instead of just getting 1 goblin for 3, you get 3 different goblins, so it pumps him 3 times plus the one he gets, plus any other ones that you have out from him. You have 4 Stoked Flames, deals 4 damage to target creature or player with Convoke, meaning you can tap one of your creatures for that color or colorless. 1 A Johnny Steadfast. Normally you're going to use it for its +2 ability. Let's see if I can focus on it. There we go. Its +1 is until end of turn. Up to 1 target creature gets +1/+1, First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. That's not bad if you only have 1 creature out, because it's better because you get Lifelink, First Strike, and Vigilance, meaning it doesn't tap. So you can use it for blocking also. But it's -2 if you have a bunch of creatures is really nice. You get a counter on your Sarkhan if you have one. You get a +1/+1 on each of your other creatures, which is really nice. Its -7 is really good also, even though I've never used it. I have seen it used against me, and it won them the game, so. And then last card is Sarkhan in the main board, and it's 2 of them. It's 5 for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker, and it can become a 4/4 red dragon with flying, indestructible, and haste until end of turn. As its +1, its -3 is pseudo removal, 4 damage target creature, just like this Stoked Flames over here, except for it costs 1 more if you're using Sarkhan because it costs 5. And then its -6 is you get an emblem which is, anybody who doesn't know what an emblem is, it's kind of like a token card, but it stays on the battlefield. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you draw 2 additional cards, or your draw step, sorry, you draw 2 additional cards, and at the beginning of your end step, you discard your hand, which is not that big of a downside because you're going to be playing most of your cards because most of them are low drops or lands, which if you're discarding lands, it's not bad because it's turn 5 and you have 5 lands at least, so normally your deck can run off that. So there's the deck, and I'll be right back for the sideboard. So I'm back with my sideboard, and we have 3 Erase, which is really good against the whip decks, because the whip is an enchantment. It also works really good against any sort of like blue-white heroic deck because they have a bunch of enchantments. I don't know for sure if it works on enchantment creatures. You should comment below if you know, because I would like to know that if you know. We have 2 Magma Spray, deals 2 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. And that's really nice for any sort of deck running low amount of creatures. So like mirror matchup, as you can tell, we got like Soldier of the Pantheons, which are really low. Almost all of our creatures are really, really low. Then we've got our last Chain of the Rocks to make it a 4 of. For any kind of matchup that has big creatures like Siege Rhinos or any sort of overly powered cards for little cost, or just any kind of big creatures. Suspension Field, same thing as the Chain of the Rocks. Good thing to add in if they have a bunch of big creatures. Glare of Heresy, any sort of deck running white that needs to get something off the battlefield, so any Mardu deck can get rid of Butcher the Hordes or anything like that, even though it's a sorcery, which kind of sucks, but that's why there's only 1 of them. I thought about running 2, but I might change my mind. The last Valorant Stance in the deck, which makes a 4 of, and so Valorant Stance is really good against any kind of card. This is really a kind of deck that goes really good against any card that, or any game that takes a while, because you want to beat them down really fast. That's why it's called aggro. And so this goes in against any kind of matchup that goes longer, and you need cards to kill their big creatures so that you can still swing in and they're not just going to eat them. For our 3 drops, we got 2 Banishing Lights to exile any kind of enchantment that they have or overly powered card. It can also get rid of like whips if they're trying to whip back a bunch of big creatures. Really good card. And last 2 cards are Anger the Gods. And what Anger the Gods do is it's a sorcery, deals 3 damage to each creature, which also will kill most of your guys, unless you've also gave them prowess that turn, meaning that they're going to be all bigger so that this won't kill them, and it'll kill their opponent's creatures mostly. Because if you're going to be setting this in, you want to make sure that they have enough creatures you want to kill, not just 1 or 2, because then it would be kind of a dead draw most of the time. And if they die, you exile it, which also helps against Delve, so they can't Delve. That's why also that is really good, and that is really good, and why that, and that, and that, why all these are really good is because it stops Delve decks. You can destroy their big stuff and stop their Delve from being able to get bigger creatures out. So there's my sideboard. Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe for more MTG information and any kind of MTG content. Please comment below what you would like me to do in my next few videos, or just anything in general for future reference, or any suggestions you have. Thanks for watching. This has been MTG Masters.